News Talk is online. News Talk is a production of Paltalk.com, the largest multimedia interactive program on the internet with more than 4 million unique users. I'm your host, Gary Baumgarten. Well, today we're going to talk about the crisis in Burma, which has reached a saturation point. Just to give you a little bit of a background of what's going on there, the Burmese people democratically elected a government in 1990, but the military junta, which is ruling the country, never permitted those selected to take office. Instead, a crackdown began. The leading opposition voice, who is a Nobel Peace Laureate, has been under house arrest for 12 years, the only Nobel Peace Prize recipient ever to be placed under house arrest. A couple weeks ago, protesters upset at rising gasoline prices took to the streets. The marches were peaceful, but the military decided to train guns on the people. They've rounded up monks by the thousands because they joined in the demonstration. They've been arresting anyone carrying a camera because they don't want images of what's going on inside the nation shown to the rest of the world. Internet access has been limited for the same reason. So many people have been arrested that there's no more room in the jails. So university buildings have been converted into detention facilities. Reporters who are filing dispatches fear for their lives. Those in country are filing anonymously to avoid retribution. The images that we are seeing are chilling. Dissidents say that the number of casualties reported by the government are deceptively low. The United Nations has sent an envoy to Burma, and many countries are expressing outrage over the government's crackdown on the people, including China, but China is doing little more than giving it lip service. We're going to talk more about the China connection and how the fate of the Burmese people may be in the hands of the Chinese. But first, I want to show you a very short clip that was taken of a demonstration in Burma and the crackdown by the military. This was shot, obviously it's amateur video. Unfortunately, at the end of the video, you're going to see somebody shot. So if I'm just going to warn you ahead of time that the images are disturbing. A show screener will play that for us now. Actually, unfortunately, as bad as that is, that was probably the tamest of the video of the military crackdown. There's far more graphic stuff out there. People actually taking the images are doing so at their own peril for obvious reasons. So among the people that have been lined up and shot have been monks. Among the people who have been shot have been journalists, including a Japanese television reporter who was shot. We thought that we would bring on Peter Navarro as our guest today. Mr. Navarro is a professor of business at the University of California at Irvine. He is the author of the best-selling book, The Coming China Wars. And we've invited him here to talk about why China refuses to exert its influence on the junta in Burma that is rounding up monks and shooting peaceful demonstrators. Navarro is a regular CNBC contributor. He also hosts a video series, The China Effect, which can be found on YouTube. He believes that China, a member of the UN Security Council, will ultimately use its veto power to prevent sanctions against Burma because Beijing wants to protect its own economic interests at the expense of those peaceful demonstrators who are being shot and monks who are being imprisoned. His articles have appeared in a wide range of publications from Business Week, the Los Angeles Times, the New York Times, Wall Street Journal, to the Harvard Business Review, the Sloan Management Review, and the Journal of Business. In addition to CNBC, he appears frequently on Bloomberg TV and radio, CNN, and NPR, as well as on all three major network news shows. His free weekly investment newsletter is published at peternavarro.com. Peter Navarro, welcome to News Talk Online on Paltalk.com.
Gary, thanks so much for this invitation to talk about a very, very important global issue today.
And it is a very important global issue. I think we've all heard the news reports and we've seen the images, although, frankly, in my estimation, the U.S. media is lagging behind media elsewhere in the world, especially in Asia. They're doing a much better job of covering this story than they are here in the United States. We have a global audience, obviously, here on Paltalk. So hopefully there are people who have been better informed by this than people here in the United States by their media. But the one thing that isn't often discussed, and which you so eloquently and to the point bring up in your video blog on YouTube, which I saw, which motivated me to invite you on the show today, is that China really is the country that's going to determine whether or not the Burmese people continue to live under this kind of an oppressive regime.
Yeah, that's absolutely right, Gary. I mean, here basically is what's going on. China, as you mentioned in your opening remarks, is a member of the UN Security Council. It's a permanent member of that council, and as a permanent member, it has veto power over any kind of UN resolutions that might impose either additional economic sanctions on Burma or the injection of a peacekeeping force into Burma. China basically has a long history of using that veto in the most crass commercial way, basically to trade generally for either oil or some other kinds of natural resources. The examples to date include Darfur. China has been working with the Sudan basically to shield them from UN sanctions, and now is the largest recipient of oil from the Sudan. That blood is on their hands. They've done it with Iran, that used that UN veto basically to trade with Iran for access to the second largest natural gas reserves on the planet. They've done it in Angola, and now they're doing it in Burma. Burma, Gary, the stakes are a lot higher for China in Burma than simply oil because of the proximity of Burma. They share a border, they share a lot of commerce. But historically, since the military junta has taken over, it's been China that has allowed Burma to avoid the worst effects of the economic sanctions imposed by the rest of the world. So this repression is clearly in China's court. Now, China covets the natural gas reserves of Burma. There's about 500 billion cubic meters of proven reserves in Burma, and China will be the biggest customer